Let me ask you something. How much longer are you going to keep chasing? How much longer are you going to keep dialing that number, sending those messages, waiting for a response that barely comes or doesn't come at all? More black heat today. Block, 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 block. The more I think of you, the more I regret. The more I pray. The more I think of you. You're sitting there giving your time, your energy, your heart to someone who doesn't even see it, who doesn't value it. And every time you reach out, every time you lower yourself just a little more, you're losing something precious. You're losing your peace. You're losing your power. You're losing you. But today, that stops. Today is the day you take a hard look in the mirror and say, enough is enough. Today is the day you reclaim your dignity, your control, and your future. Because let me tell you something, when someone takes you for granted, when they treat you like an afterthought, the most powerful thing you can do, the loudest thing you can do is to stop. Stop chasing. Stop talking. Stop giving them the gift of your attention. So if you're ready to take that step, if you're ready to shift the balance, to reclaim your power, to finally choose yourself, then let's talk. Because this isn't just about stopping the calls. It's about starting a whole new chapter, a better one, a stronger one. One where you come first. Let's go. Let me tell you something right now. Stop contacting her. Stop chasing. Stop waiting. Stop hoping she'll see your worth when you're sitting there giving her all your energy for free. That's not how this works. And that's not how you deserve to be treated. See, life will teach you something if you're willing to listen. And here's the lesson. Self-respect is the foundation of everything. Every choice you make, every relationship you nurture, every person you allow into your life, it all starts with how much respect you have for yourself. When you respect yourself, you don't let anyone cross those lines you've drawn in the sand. You don't let someone undervalue you, overlook you, or treat you like you're disposable, because you know your worth. And when you know your worth, you don't settle for less than what you deserve. Now, boundaries. Let's talk about boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They're not barriers to keep people out. No, sir. Boundaries are guidelines that say, this is how I deserve to be treated. This is how I demand to be respected. This is the standard I hold myself to. And you will too if you want to be part of my life. Too often, we think that love means sacrifice. That love means bending and breaking just to keep someone else happy. But here's the truth. Love isn't about losing yourself. It's about finding someone who values who you are, someone who respects the boundaries you've set, someone who meets you at your level and lifts you higher. But if she's not doing that, if she's taking your time, your effort, your energy for granted, you've got to step back. You've got to stop giving so much of yourself to someone who isn't giving back. Because every time you cross your own boundaries just to please someone else, you're telling them, my needs don't matter. My self-respect doesn't matter. And let me tell you, that's a dangerous game to play. Respect yourself enough to say no. No to being treated like an afterthought. No to being the one who's always reaching out, always trying, always compromising. No to being anyone's second choice. No to being anyone's second choice. Listen, there's strength in walking away. There's power in saying, I love myself too much to stay in a place where I'm not valued. And when you set those boundaries, when you enforce them, you teach people how to treat you. You set the tone for the kind of relationships you deserve. Stop contacting her. Stop contacting her, not because you're giving up, but because you're stepping up. You're stepping into the kind of life where your self-respect comes first. You're building the kind of relationships where your boundaries are honored. And you're living the kind of life where you know deep down that you're worth it. Stop contacting her. Stop calling. Stop texting. Stop waiting for a response that might never come. You're out here giving away your peace, your energy, your focus, all for someone who isn't reciprocating. And let me tell you something. Silence is louder than any words you could ever speak. Silence, real, intentional silence, has a power that words cannot touch. When you stop reaching out, when you stop chasing, when you stop trying to fill the silence with explanations and apologies, you shift the entire dynamic. You create a void. And in that void is reflection. Because here's the thing, when you go quiet, people notice. They might not admit it, they might not say it out loud, but they feel it. They feel the absence of your attention. They feel the weight of your energy missing from their life. And in that moment, they're forced to confront what your presence actually meant. See, too often, we're afraid of silence. We think if we stop talking, if we stop trying, then we'll lose them. But let me ask you, what are you holding on to? A one-sided conversation? A relationship where you're the only one making an effort? That's not love. That's not respect. That's not what you deserve. When you choose silence, you're not just stepping back, you're stepping up. You're saying, I don't need to beg for attention. I don't need to fight for what should be freely given. You're reclaiming your dignity. You're reclaiming your dignity. You're taking control of the narrative. Silence gives you space to heal, to think, to focus on yourself. It allows you to remove yourself from the noise, from the toxicity, from the chaos of an unbalanced dynamic. It gives you the time to remember who you are and what you bring to the table. Because only through time will you gain the courage. And let me tell you something else. Silence is a teacher. It teaches patience. It teaches resilience. It teaches you to be comfortable in your own company. It teaches you that you don't need anyone else to validate your worth. But silence isn't just about you. It's about them too. When you stop talking, you stop giving them the easy way out. They can't use your words against you. They can't twist your intentions. They're left with their own thoughts, their own actions, their own conscience. And silence can reset the balance. It can shift the power back to where it belongs, with you. It's not about manipulation. It's about preservation. Preserving your peace, preserving your energy, preserving your self-respect. So stop contacting her. Let your silence be your answer. Let your silence speak for your worth. Let your silence remind her and remind yourself that you are enough. Because trust me, When you embrace the power of silence, you don't lose, you win. Let me say this loud and clear: stop contacting her. You've done enough, you've given enough, you've tried enough, and now it's time to step back. Not because you're weak, not because you're giving up, but because you're strong enough to let go. That takes courage, that takes discipline, that takes the art of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you erase the memories or pretend the feelings never existed. No, detachment means you respect yourself enough to let go of what's no longer serving you. It means you understand that holding on to someone who doesn't value you is only hurting you. But let's be real. Detachment is not easy. It's a battle. It's a test of your mental strength, because every part of you wants to reach out, wants to fix things, wants to fight for what you thought could be. But stepping away, that's the real fight. That's the fight for your peace, your clarity, your future. See, when you detach, you're not just walking away from them, you're walking toward yourself. You're stepping out of the fall of confusion, the cycle of rejection, the roller coaster of emotions. You're creating space for clarity, for healing, for growth. And here's the truth: detachment is an act of self-love. It's saying, I deserve better. I deserve someone who meets me where I am, someone who values what I bring to the table, someone who doesn't make me question my worth. And if they can't be that person, then you let them go. Because clinging to someone who isn't right for you only keeps you from the life you're meant to live. But let me warn you, detachment doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It's a choice you make every day, sometimes every hour. It's resisting the urge to check your phone, resisting the urge to send that message, resisting the urge to replay those moments in your mind. And every time you choose detachment, you're building strength. You're training your mind to focus on what matters. You're teaching yourself that you can stand on your own, that you don't need anyone else to complete you, that you no longer need them to complete you. Detachment brings clarity. When you step away, you see the situation for what it really is, not what you wanted it to be. You see their actions or a lack of actions for what they are. And in that clarity, you find peace. Because you realize you don't have to fight for love. Real love doesn't need convincing. Real love doesn't require you to sacrifice your self-respect. So stop contacting her, step back, detach. Not because you don't care, but because you care too much about yourself to keep holding on to something that's not right. And when you master the art of detachment, you don't just survive, you thrive, you grow. You become the person you were always meant to be. Stop contacting her, stop calling, stop texting, stop begging for a response that never comes, or worse, one that comes with half-hearted effort. Respect yourself enough to step away. Because let me tell you something about respect. It's a two-way street. Respect isn't a one-sided transaction. It's not something you can give endlessly without expecting it in return. True respect flows both ways, lifting both people up, building something real, something strong, something worthy of your time and energy. But if you're the only one giving, the only one trying, the only one holding the relationship together, you're not being respected, you're being used. Taking time to listen. Here's the hard truth. When you stay in a situation where you are undervalued, You are teaching that person and the world how to treat you. You're saying it's okay to overlook me. It's okay to take me for granted. It's okay to give me less than I deserve. And let me tell you, it's not okay. Respect starts with you. It starts with how you see yourself, how you carry yourself, how you allow others to treat you. If you don't demand respect, you won't get it. And if someone can't or won't respect you, it's your job to walk away, not as a punishment to them, but as a gift to yourself. Now let's be clear, respect isn't about ego. It's not about control or power. Respect is about value. It's about recognizing the worth of another person and showing them that their time, their effort, their presence matters. And if you're showing up with that kind of respect, but you're not getting it back, that's not your person. That's not your relationship. Staying in a place where you're undervalued doesn't just hurt you in the moment. It chips away at your confidence, your self-esteem, your sense of worth. It makes you question yourself, doubt yourself, forget who you are. And you are too valuable, too important, too worthy for that. Think about it. Would you stay in a job where your boss never acknowledged your work, where you gave 110% every day and they barely noticed? Of course not. So why would you stay in a relationship that treats you the same way? Respect should be mutual. It should be earned and given in equal measure. And when you're with the right person, it feels natural. It's not something you have to beg for or chase after. It's just there in the way they talk to you, the way they listen, the way they show up. But if you're not giving that, if you're constantly questioning your value in their eyes, it's time to stop contacting her. It's time to stop chasing respect from someone who isn't giving it freely. Respect is a two-way street. And when you find yourself on a one-way road, heading towards someone who isn't meeting you halfway, it's time to turn around. It's time to walk away, not because you don't care, but because you care too much about yourself to stay where you're not valued. So let me say it again, loud and clear. Stop contacting her. Respect yourself enough to demand what you deserve. And if she can't give you that, keep moving. Because there's someone out there who will meet you in the middle. Someone who will see your worth. Someone who will respect you the way you deserve to be respected. And stop contacting her. Let me say it plain. Stop calling, texting, chasing, or begging for the attention you know you deserve freely. There's a power in stepping back, in saying nothing at all. It's not just silence, it's strategy. It's the dark psychology of ignoring. When someone takes you for granted, it's because they assume you'll always be there. They've grown comfortable with your presence, with your energy, with your efforts. But when you step back, when you go quiet, you disrupt that comfort. You reset the balance. You create a void that cannot be ignored. See, ignoring someone isn't about revenge. It's not about being petty or cruel. It's about creating space for them to reflect and for you to reclaim your power. Because every time you chase someone who undervalues you, you're handing over a piece of your strength. And when you stop, when you step back, you take that strength back, piece by piece. When you ignore, you're saying without words, I am not desperate for your attention. I don't need your validation to feel whole. I choose me over the pain of chasing you. That's a message they cannot overlook. It forces them to think about what your absence means, to confront the reality of losing you and to question their own actions. To confront the reality of losing you, I can see the impact that it will have on everybody. It starts with action and impact. It reads the rules around it, reads events around it. And let me tell you something. Silence is louder than any argument. It leaves no room for misinterpretation, no space for excuses. It forces them to sit with the weight of their choices. Because here's the truth. People don't realize what they have until it's gone. Your silence, it's a reminder of what they've lost. But the power of ignoring isn't just about them, it's about you. When you stop chasing, you stop bleeding energy. You stop draining yourself trying to keep someone in your life who isn't giving back. You free yourself from the emotional chaos, the mental gymnastics, the constant questioning of your worth. Ignoring is about boundaries. It's about self-respect. It's about saying, I will no longer invest my time, my energy, my love into someone who doesn't see its value. And that's not just powerful, it's transformative. But here's the kicker. Ignoring doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you didn't love. It means you've chosen to love yourself more. It means you're giving them the gift of reflection while giving yourself the gift of peace. And reflection, that's where the real power lies. Because when you stop talking, they start thinking. They start wondering, why did they stop calling? Why did they stop chasing? And in that silence, they begin to see the space you filled, the value you brought, the light you added to their life. So stop contacting her. Not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. Not out of anger, but out of strength. Let your silence speak for you. Let it say, I am worth more than this one-sided dynamic. I am worth more than being taken for granted. Because when you embrace the dark psychology of ignoring, you don't lose, you don't break, you rise, you reclaim your power, your peace, your dignity. And in that space, you find clarity, you find growth, you find freedom. Stop contacting her, stop reaching out, stop waiting for a reply that's not coming the way it should. This isn't about her anymore. It's about you. It's about reclaiming control over your life, over your energy, and over your future. When you keep chasing someone who isn't chasing you back, you're giving away your power. You're putting your happiness, your worth, your identity in their hands. But let me ask you, who should control your life? Them or you? Because the moment you stop, the moment you decide, I will not give my energy to someone who doesn't value it, you take back the reins. You reclaim what's yours. Control starts with choice. And your first choice is to walk away with dignity, with purpose, with strength. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate show of courage. It's saying, I refuse to stay where I'm not respected. I refuse to be a passenger in my own story. I am the driver, and I choose a better path. And let me tell you something else. When you reclaim control, you stop living for their approval and start living for your own growth. You stop focusing on what they're doing, what they're thinking, and what they're feeling, and you start focusing on what you're doing, what you're building, and what you're becoming. This isn't about proving anything to them. This is about proving something to yourself. It's about showing yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances, braver than your fears, and worth more than being someone's afterthought. Start the show. Syndication is being seen. By joining forces, you create a space for brilliance, which is the statement. Reclaiming control means setting your eyes on your own purpose. It means asking yourself, what do I want out of this life? What do I want to achieve? Who do I want to become? And then putting everything you've got into making that vision a reality. Because here's the truth. Your energy is sacred. Your time is precious. And every moment you spend chasing someone who doesn't appreciate you is a moment you could be using to build something extraordinary. So stop contacting her. Walk away, not with bitterness, but with pride. Not with anger, but with peace. Walk away knowing that this decision isn't an ending, it's a beginning of a new chapter, one where you are the priority, one where your goals, your dreams, and your happiness come first. Reclaim your control, hold your head high, and remember, this isn't about losing her. It's about finding you. And when you find yourself, when you reclaim your power, there's nothing in this world that can stop you. So let me bring it home for you. Stop contacting her. Stop giving your energy to someone who doesn't see it for the gift that it is. Stop chasing, stop begging, stop pouring into a cup that refuses to be filled. This is your moment, your chance to reclaim your power, your peace, your dignity, your opportunity to choose yourself, because that's what this is all about. It's not about her. It's not about what she did or didn't do. It's about you. It's about your growth, your purpose, your future. You deserve respect. You deserve mutual effort. You deserve a love that meets you halfway without hesitation, without conditions. And if you're not getting that, then you step back, you go quiet, and you focus on the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. Silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Detachment isn't giving up, it's letting go of what's holding you back. Ignoring isn't about hurting them, it's about healing you. And walking away, that's not defeat, that's victory. So walk away with your head high, walk away with your heart intact, walk away knowing you've chosen yourself, your value, your peace, and remember, this isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of something greater. My joking aside, think you had something greater story. Because when you stop chasing what's not meant for you, you make room for what is. And trust me, when you do that, life has a way of giving you more than you ever thought possible. Keep moving forward. The best is yet to come.